terroir. I'm Simon Jacob, your host for this episode from Jerusalem. Before we get started, I ask that wherever you are, please take a moment and pray for the safety of our soldiers and the safe return of all of our hostages. Throughout all our past podcasts, we have discussed winemakers, distributors, and all the peripheral players within the wine industry. This episode starts to explore some of the basic elements of what is needed to actually create the base infrastructure for growing grapes here in Israel, but actually this is quite similar to most vineyards around the globe, though with notably a few exceptions. I have asked my friend Nadav Jesselson back to discuss his experiences as he is right now involved in the first harvest of his recently planted vineyard. Recently means 4 years ago. I thank him very much for agreeing and especially for his candor in discussing many of the nitty-gritty elements of what creates and sustains a vineyard. If you're driving in your car, please focus your attention on the road ahead. But if you're home listening, please select a delicious bottle of kosher wine, sit back and enjoy this incredible conversation with Nadav Jesselson. I want to ask you from not an agronomist perspective, because an agronomist is going to tell me all the details, and I'm going to ask him them anyway. But I want to ask you about how you went about building the vineyard, meaning from a consumer perspective, from your perspective. I was interested in, how did you select the vineyard plot? The solar exposure, the temperature, the humidity, the airflow. How did you pick that space?
Somebody asked me lately. I don't remember what he asked, but I remember the answer. I said, "אני לא בחרתי אותה, היא בחרה אותי."
Okay. 100%. I didn't choose her, she chose me.
I always say we married young, me and my wife. אז מצאנו אחד את השני בקלות, אחד את השני. אבל it was hard to decide where to live. So we lived in, we started Givat Shmuel, Tel Aviv, Mitzpe Ramon, Bet Gamliel, Amatzia.
I almost bought a house in Bet Gamliel.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. And we got to Nechusha at the end. In Nechusha we bought a meshek. So that's how I got to Nechusha, to Matei Yehuda. It was a journey. And not an easy one. When I really wanted to stay, first I wanted to stay in Bet Gamliel. Didn't work out. I wanted to stay in Amatzia. Amatzia I really wanted to stay. I loved Amatzia. I still love Amatzia. And it took a while to get used to Nechusha. Anyways, that's how we got to Nechusha. I wasn't a chaklai then. And then when we decided to do chaklaut, so we started, we sat in the olive grove, remember?
Yeah.
The olive grove is part of our meshek.
Okay. Wow.
So it was, so we basically got to do it there in that wadi. There's also the issue about the fact that we have to do it in the land of Nechusha. So again, that put us in Nechusha, inside of I think the Nechusha has between 700 and 1,000 dunam of the Moshav. So inside that, we went next to our olive grove, and that worked out perfectly because then we knew where to take the water from and we knew how to do it. And then actually, and we also measured, we did 9, that's, Carmel told me to do it. We did 9 pits to dig out some of the land and take it to the lab to see what it contains and to see if it's good or not. And when we did the second planting of Anava vineyards, of the parcels, so we were thinking of doing it somewhere else. In a valley that goes down from Nechusha, it's something more romantic about it, and maybe even better because it's narrower, so the cold air goes through better. And we did also there. We checked the land together. Then we was already together with Avinoam and Eyal, and there was a lot of gir. How do you say gir? Chalk?
Yeah.
No, chalk is
white.
Right.
Yeah.
What you read on on the board.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of chalk there. And they told me chalk is not so good. You can do it. Maybe we'd rather do the whites here. It's better for the whites. Gives a strong mineral taste to the wine, so it's not so good to do it with the chalk that's there. And then there were other reasons, סיבות בירוקרטיות, in that specific vadi. That bureaucracy. So we said. So I said next. Exactly. The netunim aren't good. The data isn't good of the land. Not good enough. And the bureaucracy stopped me, so I said, okay, that's it. We're not going to do it here. We're going to stay nearby the existing vineyard. Again, this was the second planting. And I'm so happy that we did that at the end. It was amazing. Because now we have the whole, it's a whole complex. And we're going to grow, hopefully, as more and more people join. We're going to grow more. We're going to do more private parcels.
One of the things that's interesting about your location is a lot of the wineries. You brought up an interesting comment to me when I did the interview about how high it was in meters, and that this is too low.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because all the wineries were trying to get to these high vineyards so that they could get a difference between cold and hot.
Right.
The heat and the cooling up in these very high vineyards, and recently, not so recently, but in the past 4 years, 5 years, the thought has changed totally to try to move. If you can get a vineyard that's in one of these riverbeds, stream beds, where you've got this air and water flowing down from the mountains and flowing into this area. That's where you want to be.
I don't feel that people are moving from the mountain. The mountain still has its prestige, It's still considered the best quality, the best wines. But definitely you can see that they're planting like crazy in the Emek Haila.
That's the hot new area to plant.
And it's amazing to see these last weeks. When you drive through Emek Haila, here and there, you see a lot of cars all around the vineyards.
Because they're all
harvesting.
They're all harvesting.
It's amazing.
It's crazy. People are coming from, because there's a lot of people.
We had a harvest in the beginning of the week. Did you see?
Monday. I think Monday.
Yeah, but you didn't see then. You saying LinkedIn or something?
No, I saw an invitation to come to harvest, and I really wanted to do that. Are you doing it again?
We're having another one.
When?
So it's either going to be next week or the latest the week after. What's happening with our Petit Syrah is that the bricks isn't
coming up.
Isn't coming up. It is moving, but really slow. So as long as it's on the trees, I'm walking there all the time. It's there's a lot of metach.
Yep.
Because you want to harvest it, or you want to be after.
Right.
Because you can have chikvonot and stuff like that all the time, Like being pregnant, you want to get over with, and then to see that everything is exactly. You want to see she's a bari.
Yeah.
So we did harvest a little bit of the Petit Syrah for Yekev Sorek. They wanted already, and we gave them, and they didn't do. They crushed it together with a different vineyard in Vochoron. But he did take 3 boxes of ours, and he got to 23 bricks, which is fine.
Yeah.
We did yesterday. Yatir came, and they did another check, and they got to 22. And so he said, okay, either next week around Wednesday, or the latest Sunday after that.
Okay.
So we're gonna.
Do you mind if I come?
What do you mind?
Okay.
I'd be more than happy.
I would love to.
I would
love to.
Come with your kids or come with your family.
I would love to come because
we would love it.
It's one of my favorite things because you go very early in the morning.
Right.
And
actually, the thing that made me the happiest from all of this is that my parents came.
Wow.
We had twice. We had the Petit Syrah for Sorek, and then we had another with a Cabernet. And the Cabernet was on the same night with the Botzeret. I don't know, how would you call that? The tractor that does the harvesting.
Harvesting.
Does it have a name, the tractor?
No. But this is what you call it? This is mechanical harvesting?
Yeah, and the Cabernet, mechanical harvesting that we had. And we had hand picking also. Okay. But at the Petit Syrah, we started at 3 or 4 at night.
Yeah.
And my parents came and they stayed with us and they did it.
It's amazing to see sunrise come up and to be there in the middle of the vineyard.
Oh,
and it's also much better to do it then. Otherwise, you're fighting bees.
Right, bees in the sun.
Yeah,
I know.
It's
not an easy job at the end. People think you're coming, you're picking, you're just cutting and walking around. Yeah. If you're doing that for hours,
by 9 o'clock, I'm toasted.
Devastating.
Totally
it's hard.
Toasted.
It's really hard.
By 9 o'clock in the morning,
actually, it was Monday or Sunday that we did the Petit Syrah, and it was such an emotional day for me. And this day they found Hirsch and all the guys there. And while we're picking, my wife tells me, "Did you hear the news?" And she tells me the news. And then there was also the Pigua in Talcumia. It's on the road where we are, right? Yeah. There's, they're driving the road to Talcumia. So endless ambulances and then Kochot HaBitachon going on the road next to us. And when we finished the harvest, I took my son to a dorm in Mitzpeh Ramon. He started Kita Tet there. So that day for me was... I ended the day. I said, I gotta have a little pizza to calm down. So we went to pizza. We bought a pizza. We spoke about the fact that we're living in the times that Or V'choshech Meshamshim B'Irbuvia and the most extreme that we've ever had. I think, ever. Harvesting with such happiness and at the same time getting these news. Choshech V'Irbuvia, mamash Choshech V'Or. So that was our first harvest. Very, very exciting.
Talk to me a little bit about land preparation. One is leveling the slopes and the considerations you had, and also infrastructure, irrigation, the drainage, the roads, all the rest of it.
So we're right now, we may have another planting this year. We're waiting for someone, basically a client, to say if he wants or not. It's a special client because he's from here and it's his land, so we're going to see. But yeah, the first thing
I want to try an SOB.
The SOB?
Yeah, let's try that.
You first.
I will.
I got to finish this.
Yeah, take your time. I'm not rushing it.
So land preparation.
Yes.
Because we were going to do it now, basically we took everything we've done up until now, and with all the how do you say fakat lekachim?
I don't know.
No, that we've learned from the past.
Yes.
We've brought everything that we have now, and we basically, Amash wrote it down step by step of the preparing the land. So the first thing you do is you open up the land with a discus. It's called charisha, plowing
with what you call it, with tilling the soil. It goes.
You open up the land. And where we are, preparing the land is super easy. Again, relatively to the guys in the mountains. The guys in the mountains, when they want to plant, I have a friend who planted in Negohot now. You know what that is?
No.
It's the end of Harei Hebron to the west.
Okay.
Southwest. At the south of Hebron to the west. And when they plant, they have to come with a Congo. It's called, and hammer to break the stone. Yeah. And in some places they break the stone. They put in soil to plant in the soil.
On top of it. Yeah.
Meaning they're planting on stone. So preparing there is really hard. Really, really hard. So for us, it's all soil.
Okay.
And I'd say it's all soft soil. It's like as if she just says, just come. Just plant here.
I was going to ask you about that because I know there's places in the Jerusalem hills where it's like the stone is like literally just on the surface or below.
You're planting and you on the stone.
And they come in with not jackhammers, but the things that like jackhammers.
Jackhammer,
right? Jackhammers, and they crack the stone, then they cover it with I don't know how much topsoil, but it's maybe 18 centimeters, 20 centimeters of topsoil.
Right.
And then they plant. And it's and then the roots go down into
the stone. They'll find their way through the stone.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
You got to taste this. You got to taste this.
Yeah. So I had this on Shabbos. It was amazing.
Well,
The
now-
2020, I guess it was.
Yeah.
And this is,
Who got you the
I
bottle?
bought it in Pinto.
Okay.
I have a friend. I told you that I don't know if you'd want to do a podcast, but it would definitely be a nice one. His name is Hidayah Faim. He has, in the Bet Hensen and Rehov
Over
Dor-
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a coffee shop
Yeah,
there.
sure.
It's his. They are special. The farm to table. They have a farm in the Arava, Meshek Afaim. It's
I would
called.
love to talk to him.
Anyways, I'm going to ask him.
Yes.
Hidayah Faim, very very special guy. He's a חברותה. הוא לא דתי, אבל אנחנו יושבים ולומדים גמרא, וממש הוא קצת מורי ורבי כזה, even though he calls him all the time הרב, הוא באמת הרב שלי. We met through the vineyards because we planted at the same time. And I came to just, advise with him and get his advice. And immediately he said, we hit it off, and he said, זהו, בוא נתחיל ללמוד. And I always say that there's two things that are very difficult for a chavuta, for me. One is when to learn, because you can never find the time. And the second is what to learn. Because then you say, okay, we found the time. What are we going to learn? I have had this a few times. What are we going to learn? Okay, well, let's think about it. And then it never happens.
Never happens. Right.
So with him, and that's Idai's also character, he said, so you want to learn? I said, yes. Okay, 6:30, Masechet Tanit. Okay, that's how it was. He finished it. No dilemmas. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is amazing.
Isn't that crazy?
Amazing. And how did I buy the SOB? At Pinto. How did I get to Pinto? Because Idai was also in his first harvest this year. And I came to be his mashgiach.
Okay.
We have to talk about the kashrut also. Anyways, I came to be his mashgiach. And it wasn't to be his mashgiach. Just to sign on a few papers and to come and for me, it was just to come, was a reason to come to harvest with him. So he had 3 harvests. He had Chenin Blanc, Sauvignon Blanc, and Chardonnay that he harvested this year. And every time I came in the morning, I did like an hour harvest, an hour and a half. And then one day when he had much more than what he expected, and he couldn't take it with his agala.
Came with his, with the
car carrier.
Yeah, the carrier.
So I told him in advance. I told him if you don't have enough, tell me. I'm coming. I'm going to take it to Pinto. And for me, it was.
That's where they took it to Pinto.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hidai makes it with Yaakov. Yeah. Yaakov is Hidai's מורו ורבו של היין.
He is mine as well. I love him. I just spoke to him this morning.
Wow.
I spoke to him this morning.
So I love Yaakov also. And so for me, it was an amazing opportunity to go down. First of all, to take grapes from the vineyard to the winery is כשלעצמו.
Yep.
An amazing חוויה and fun וזכות. And then I took it, and also the other zchut was to go and see meet Yaakov and see the winery. And somebody there took me for a whole tour in the Yaakov there.
Who?
Doron,
Ken.
Met her?
Ken, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So she took me for the tour there. And
I have a bunch of friends who work there.
Rafael is there. He's Yad Yamino of Yaakov,
yes.
Right?
Yep.
And so I told Rafael, I said, okay, I want to take a few wines. Tell me what I need to take from here to taste this winery. And one of them was SOB, and I was amazed. I was so happy for me because we just met and he just told me about it. And I didn't even know that they're selling it. So it was perfect.
You should have said to Yaakov. You should have said to Yaakov that I met Simon.
I told him.
Oh, okay.
I told him.
He's such a special person. Such a special person.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. There's certain people that are just, they kind of glow, and they're just amazing people.
Mamash.
Yeah.
With Yaakov, I think he glows in a specific area, and his... יש לו איזה... קשה להגיד אמת, כי זה משהו, אמת נשמע כזה דין, אבל יש ליעקב משהו כזה, דווקא עדין.
כן.
אבל מאוד בטוח, מאוד יודע, מאוד...
100%.
מאוד, it's all good what's going all around, but I know what I want.
Yeah.
It's כזה ישר.
He is yashar, but he's also so honest that he doesn't, he's not a person who needs to impress people.
Exactly. You could see it in his wines.
Yeah, but even with his wines, like he came out, Yafa Kalavana.
Okay.
Okay? And it's because it's pink, but it wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be a levana. It was supposed to be white. And he doesn't.
Amazing.
Most people would say, "Oh no, I meant it to be like this." No, not him, not Yaakov. He doesn't.
I think in wine that's how it is, because it's השיתוף פעולה עם הקדוש ברוך הוא ביצירה של יין היא מאוד ברורה. Because you're doing your things, but who knows what's going to happen at the end?
Right.
I see that I was at Eyal now, because we brought him our Cabernet. And I see what's going on there. And I see it on his face also. מאוד מעניין, זה מתחדש לי עכשיו עוד יותר. שעל יד האדם ביצירת היין, יש בזה המון תהליך שחייבת אמונה, כי אתה מנסה, you're only trying.
You have to have a lot of faith, because otherwise you never
humility,
know whether it's
I think, because
it's 100% you're true. It's humility and faith, because no matter what you say, your words, you can say anything you want, but when the wine
at the end it's in the glass,
you're stuck,
right?
Right,
and you don't know if you did it correctly or not, or this or that. And I remember we were trying. I went with Hidai. Hidai helped me also to take our grapes to Eyal.
Yeah,
and it was amazing. He let us. He gave us the taste from the barrels. What was it?
From Kesem?
No, it was white.
Okay.
Two different white. No, same white. Marcelan.
Oh.
Marcelan from Retamim, I think.
Yeah. His Marcelan.
And he gave us one that was one shemer. How do you say shmarim?
Yeast.
Yeast.
Two different yeasts. Yeah, not much.
What's the least?
Lees are the residual stuff it's what settles out of the yeast. And they let them sit.
Right.
And they develop on the lees.
So he gave us two different yeasts to try.
Yes.
And it was, for me,
such a big difference.
I'm standing with her. Hidai is a chef. He's super. And Eyal, זה החוויה. It's the best thing for me to be a fly on the wall with these guys. Because one of the things that excites me the most is to hear people who are passionate and knowledgeable talking about the things they're passionate and knowledgeable about.
Crazy.
So there was amazing. We tasted these two same varieties with two different yeasts, and it was totally different.
Okay, so let me ask you another question. When you put up the trellises, when you put up the things for the vines to grow on, did you have options, or you knew what you were going to do? And
so, yes, you have options, but because I was and still am really, really new to this industry, so Carmel Wineries basically told me this is what you should take, and it was right for me, because I wanted to do with the best all the time. And this is the best trellis system that there is. So that's how I got to it, to doing with that. Our trellis system it comes from Italy or from Germany, and it has basically it's metal that is megulvan. I don't know how to say
galvanated.
Galvanated. Sounds the same.
It's the same word.
Exactly.
It's exactly the same.
Galvanated. And the person who we buy it from is super, super yeke and serious, as far as, even the cables that hold, at the end of the day, that hold the branch, the main branch. So I was going to buy it for somewhere else. I was contemplating, it's cheaper. And then I talked to him, and he gave me a whole lecture of why his cable is what you measured. It has a density like this, and it could hold like this, and the rest don't even measure them, and they don't know what it contains and whatever. So it's super serious. So for me, it was very comforting at the end of the day to know that what I'm getting is the best. That's from Oren Gevin and his brother Danny Gevin. An amazing story of their family. They're the original. They are the descendants of the original settlers from Zichron. Today they live around Zichron, not in Zichron. But amazing story, amazing people. And Danny what was amazing for Danny is he's basically hu mashlim et hachavila, because Danny is the guy who comes with a tractor and puts them in the ground.
Wow.
So we put them every 4.5 meters. The main the main trellis that hold the cable every 4.5 meters, and we went before at night, and we basically put them. I got a few of the youth from Nechusha to come and help me. Sometimes my daughters come and help me, and we take them off the car and we put them every 4.5 meters approximately. Before that, we already put in. When we started at the beginning, that's how we did it. We bought a lot of plastic spoons, so you can really see it, and you basically just stick it in the ground. Right? We did the plowing. I didn't say first you do the plowing, but from the plowing, nisharim regavim. Regavim is the ground.
Yeah, has
what is it? Is a word for that in
English?
Or what? Lumps. Yeah, maybe lumps of mud, which are not mud. Of soil, but really hard.
Yes.
So after that, you bring what's called in Hebrew an argaz machlik. Machlik is to, how do you say machlik?
To level it.
Level it. Mamash level it and then the ground becomes much smaller elements or whatever.
Yeah, much smaller particles. Yeah.
And then it's easy because you stick in a spoon and you see it on top. Nothing is blocking it. You can really just see the white circle, and then you know where to put the pole.
So cool.
So, and then you have to make it really, really, really straight.
Right.
So the truth is, and the first time we did it, when you come and you see the vineyard today, you stand in front of a row, and that's our goal is that you stand in front and you see only one pole.
Right.
Because they're all right behind each other. Right. When we did the second one, I have no idea why. In some places it worked exactly, in some places it didn't. Suddenly you see a pole to the right and a pole to the left, and you see a few of them. It goes a little bit like this. It's not so. It's not that dramatic.
No, it's not. Yeah.
But for me, it was. I wanted to look good also.
Perfect.
So I know Danny was
you're very medoctic.
Yeah. So Danny was again, the best thing for me in this industry and this new career that I have is to meet the people. Danny was amazing. He works, super, super serious. He cares about it, more than I do almost. And then we sit and we talk and we get to know each other, and it was just so much fun. So that's a tele system. There are, the cheaper ones, the old ones, the way they used to do it all the time. That's called baznatim. I don't know how you call it. It's just metal, not megulvan, that they stick. Also, with Dani, with Oren, it's the whole system. It's also, there's, at the end, you have...
On the edges,
exactly. You have, I always forget the word, anchors.
Yes.
Anchors that have to hold in the ground. They have to hold. You have a 140-meter row. That's one of our rows. And imagine that you have 140 meters, you have that, like almost a ton of grapes, hopefully, on that wire, on the cable, on the wire. So you have to, at the end, something to hold it into the ground.
Right.
So with that, you bring a tractor, and it digs a hole in each and every row, and then you put in the anchor, which is basically a plate. It's a plate, I'd say it's like maybe 40 centimeters on 40 centimeters, something like that. And you stick it in the ground, and Oren comes and he shows you exactly how to stick it. And then the tractor has to cover it. So he first covers it from the behind, so it hangs on something, and then from the top, and then from here, and from there. He comes and he tells you, and it has to be exactly in front of the row. And at the end of the day, you have outside of the ground with the anchor, you cover the anchor, and you have like a cable, and it has like a lula'ah. How would you say lula'ah? Like a round...
A ring.
A ring, exactly. Yeah. You have a ring sticking out of the ground.
Yeah.
And that ring with another cable from Nirosta, you connect it to the end of the trellis system, to what's called Amud Rosh Shura. The head row.
The head row. The first of the rows.
Right.
Yes, right. Rosh Shura. The head of the row.
So that's the trellis system that we put up. It was really fun.
Cool.
Yeah. The second time we had a different anchor, which is also interesting.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't digging, because in our parcels for the Anava vineyards, they're smaller rows.
Right.
So you don't really need an anchor like we have in the longer rows. So what we have there is it's an anchor, an arrow anchor, because it's like an arrow. It has a small spitz on the end of it.
Yep.
And it sticks in the ground, and then you just you hit it with a hammer, or there's a thing called halmaniya shu holem.
Okay.
I don't know it's the word for that in English. So you stick it into the ground, and then you pull it a little bit, and it makes a little
opens up.
It opens up, exactly,
stops.
And it stops. That's how we did it for the shorter rows, for the parcels, for the private parcels.
Oh.
What else is there in the teller system? Also, we put on white hoses on the end, so you can see it exactly where it ends.
Where they are,
that
so you can't hit them with the tractor.
Exactly, so you don't, right.
Do you
That's it.
Do you harvest mostly with machine?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
We have, at the end of the day, we have
seen that.
77 dunams today.
77.
And out of that, 50 are harvest with machine. Wow. 50 minus 2, if you count the ones that we did hand picking. Hopefully next year also we're going to hand pick, because we want to make our own wine. So Carmel, which is nice, agreed that we'd take 3 tons of grapes.
Of your own.
Yeah.
What is, did you have to buy special tractors that do the machine picking?
No. The machine picking is a tractor that I think you have to have a lot.
Oh, so they come in and they do that specially
in
for
order
you.
for it to be worth you to buy it. Exactly,
right.
Exactly. It's a guy by the name of Shimon Betel. Okay. He's an amazing guy. I also talked with him at the beginning of the day of my journey.
Right.
He's from Avochoron, and
wow.
And they have endless and they have endless vineyards.
Yeah.
They're amazing viticultures, and they have also a company of what's called botzrot, the harvesting tractors.
Right.
And I talked to him a day before. He told me, they're going to come at this and this, and then he called me while he was still harvesting. It was probably 5 or 6, because he came at 4, and we started 5, whatever. And he told me, Mazal Tov. ואיזה כרם יפה. And I told him, על מה אתה מדבר? You're not here, how do you know? So he told me, הבוצר שלי, the guy who was driving on the tractor, called me to tell me how happy he is in your vineyard. זה עושה לי נחת.
Yeah, that made you happy.
Yeah.
He told, wow. So
that was and that's a trailer system. So when he gave me that compliment, I didn't do anything.
Right.
All I did is called Danny.
Yeah.
Because Danny did them so straight. And Oren brought the trailer system. So I'm very happy with the trailer system. But at the end of the day, Baruch Hashem, I could afford it.
Right.
It's very expensive.
Right.
And I had a funny story with one of the Chaklaim that became good friends with him. He's a vatik. How do you say?
An old timer.
An old timer of farmers in Israel. He has thousands of dunams that he does wheat and stuff like that. And he came to me and he was so amazed by this new project, and he was so happy, and he was really, really encouraging me. And it's the best for me, these guys who appreciate it. And then that same day, Oren came. When he came, one day that he came to visit me in the vineyard, and he said to Oren, for him it was hard, especially for the old timers. He said, I see you can't make money out of the chaklaut, so you're going to make money out of the chaklaim. So he was laughing at him. And I was like, don't say that, whatever.
You can't make money out of doing it yourself. You're making money out of people who do it.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Because it's an issue. And I've been talking to people all the time to ask them, to old timers and to new timers, ask them if
how do you do
this? What do they
wrong?
think?
Yeah.
What do they think of this terror system? And I'm getting different answers here and there. But we're very happy, anyways. We're very happy because again, you feel confident with what you get. And as we did buy a tractor to do the spraying and the weeding.
Yeah.
So that we have. And when you have this trellis system, you're much more secure as far as damage and stuff like that. It's not that it can't happen, and it happened.
Yeah.
When we're doing it, it hardly happens.
Yeah.
Maybe even not at all yet. But it could.
Yeah.
But when we bring other people to do the works in the vineyard with the tractor, so a tractor hits a pole there, hits this. So it doesn't matter if it's galvanated or not, it's gonna break, you know.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
Watering. How big a deal was watering?
First of all, there are a few companies that give you the hoses, the tzinorot. How do you say tzinorot? Hoses?
The hoses, yeah.
So hoses. So the most famous one, of course, is Netafim.
Yeah.
Then you have Rivulis and a few others, which I don't remember. And I got offers for most of them, but again, it was the first of all, difference wasn't so big, and at the end of the day, I was looking for the best, so I went to Netafim.
Yeah.
And like I told you before, it's not only the name of it; it's the person that I'm working with. So this guy, Oren Bahat, had a good connection with him, even though he's a sales guy. So you always think he's just nice to me because he wants to sell. But forget that. I enjoy his company, and I enjoy talking to him, and I feel that he cares. So that's the most important. So we did with Netafim.
Did you learn anything from it? Was the things that you?
Of course. Yeah. For me, here everything was new, totally new. I learned everything from scratch, mamash.
About hoses? What would you learn from that?
What do you mean that there's that the hoses have the irrigation has a tiftuf?
Yes, an opening.
An opening.
Yeah.
So it could be 1.6 liters per hour, or different ones. We have 1.6. So I don't know what are the other ones, but I'm sure there are other ones. And I remember that you could have the
you could customize the hole so that it would give you.
No, you can't customize it. You buy it the way you want it.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. You buy the hose customized so that it has exactly the flow of water that you need,
that you want for the specific growing that you're going to grow.
Right.
Other than that, at the beginning we had the dripping every 50 centimeters. In the new one, we did every 60 centimeters. So that's another one that you could change. The hose is called Tzinor Esrim. I don't know if it's because it's 20 millimeters, 20 or maybe it's then you have ones that are 16. A lot of different ones. The whole process of how to bring the water from the main faucet to your main faucet, and then to into the field. That was, for me, super interesting. I loved it. It starts. The first thing I did when I came to the area, the first step I did to start the vineyard was to find out how do I get the hose up into the area, because the way it works is that you have the main hoses of Mekorot, which is the
water supply.
The water supply in Israel. And it goes near the road under the vineyard. And then you have to connect it to the main hose. So there is what's called a kluv maim. It's a cage of the water that there is right in front of the vineyard. So that's what I told you also before, that the fact that we picked it there was good. Because not only that, it has to go under the road. And there was already a hose that went under the road
to you,
to me, to my side. Historically, they used to grow there something, also vineyards, and also for years they haven't, but they had something that went under the road. So I didn't have to, start opening up the road. And so what we did, and I brought a guy again, amazing. Anyways, he has a whole, infrastructure company, to give you serious, for building infrastructure for water. So he dug the old hose that was under the ground, that was made out of some sort of metal. And when we pulled it out, it totally
corroded. It was corroded.
Corrosion, right.
Yeah.
Totally. So why am I saying that? Because people told me at the beginning, don't put in a new hose. The hoses like they used to make, the saying, they never make it today like they used to
make it, right.
Right? So also on the hose, they told me, it's an amazing hose, don't make a new one. And I was contemplating, and at the end I said, again, I'm starting from scratch. I'm not doing any. I'm starting new.
Right.
And when we pulled it out, it was like Baruch Hashem, because it was totally cracked and totally with corrosia, and it basically zitporer, just crumbled up. Crumbled up when we pulled it out.
Right.
And so we took it from the other side of the road, and the hose went under the road inside something that was there already. And we pulled it to the other side of the road. And then he dug a hole up to the middle of the olive grove where you saw. That's where we built. That's the next. So the first stage is to bring the water where you want it to be. The next stage is to build your head system.
To distribute it around.
Exactly, to distribute it to the different parcels. And then you have to build if you want. Most of the people, I think, do it today like that. You put up a computer. I manage my watering system through the phone, through the computer that's there. And we bought a guy by the name of Israel Mulai, not far, that knows how to do it. And he built the whole system. And then you bring a tractor that digs, a special tractor, that basically digs only digs a canal. He knows how to dig a canal. He drives, and it's not. Doesn't have to move all the time, and then you bring the water from the head system with what's called hamechalkim.
Something that separates it out into all the different branches.
Right, and every one is a mechalik. He's going to give it out to that parcel and to that parcel. We made 5 different in the words of the Chakleim. It's called taktim.
Okay.
Chamesh taktim we have of different, basically faucets, right, of the berez.
Right.
And it goes there. Then you dig another hole, another canal besides the vineyard.
Right.
And then on every row, you have another hose, which is called a shlucha. Tasholeach oto.
That sends it out.
It sends it out into the specific row. So if you have 36 rows in our parcel number 5, parcel is called Moshe, so you have there 36 different shluchot that are sending out, and the way it connects it also, you have like it's called a rochev. So a lot of details here. It's called
so cool.
It's called a rochev. The rochev is something that basically you connect it with the screws onto the mechalek, to the main hose, which is a bigger one, of course.
Right.
And it basically sticks on like this, and it has a small hole on the top. And then with a screw, you screw the shlucha, the end of the hose, to that rochev. You make a hole inside. And then when you open the water, basically it all works on pressure.
Right.
Also, the beginning of the process, I didn't say, is with netafim. You send them the map of what you're going to do.
Right.
And you tell them the pressure, and they design it. They design it how it's supposed to be. That's what I brought to Israel Mulai. I told him, this is what I need. And he said, okay, you do it like this, like that, like that. And that's it. And then there's a computer, and beside all of the head system, there's also the fertilizer. You have a big tank for fertilizer. That's another hose
that fits onto that and connects to the main hose to go wherever you want it to go, with another computer on it to tell it exactly how much you're going to give fertilizer. What about pests? Disease management and pests. How involved did you have to get into that? Not too much, because I'm sure it's a whole world, but I didn't feel that we have it a lot. We're dealing with it a lot. Okay. The person who's in charge of it is Avinoam. He is our what's called pakach mezikim. Okay. Was the inspector of the pests. Right. Who comes once a week and needs to go around all the time and see that we're okay. We give at the beginning of the season a certain chemical into the roots, basically through the watering system. It's called hagma'a. Magmi'a auto. Okay. Right, I think it's from the word in hagmi'inina. What does Eliezer say to Rivka? Hagmi'inina? No. Anyways, we give it through the watering system. It goes into the vineyard, the vines, and it keeps the pests away.
Spraying also. We've done spraying against what's called ashish kol. Ash is like a butterfly, but the night butterflies. So what he does, he comes and he puts his eggs into the fruit.
Right.
Because then when the zachal, the worm, comes out,
right.
So he has food.
Something to eat.
Exactly. So we sprayed against ashish kol. With pests, I had an interesting story. Last year, we saw, around these times, right after we finished the harvest of the orla, of course we harvest everything to the floor, and we started seeing on one side of the vineyard that it's starting to dry out. So I was new, and I said, okay, this is weird, but I guess the vineyard is going to sleep. It's winter soon, and it's shutting down. And I asked Avinoam, and I asked also Idan. They were exactly switching between them, so it also fell between the seats. I don't know if that's the word.
Between the shifts.
The shifts.
Yeah.
Fell ben hakisot, you say. So that's why I translated it.
Yeah.
And he said, it looks fine. He doesn't know what it is. And then one day, it became worse and worse. It became more and more drying out. And I thought, again, it's natural. And then one day, one of the main Mavinim, a guy by the name of Iran Arkabi, he was an advisor with viticulture and everything, and a teacher, and he came to take something from me that actually Oren Gevin left by me, and he just came to take it. And I told him, okay, you're here. Please give me your eye, give me your sense. What do you see? And he said, something here is totally wrong. This is not supposed to be the season of it that's trying to dry out. And he comes and he looks and he says to me, listen, you have here trips. Trips, you know what that is?
Yeah.
It's this
little bug.
Little bug. You can see it with your eye, but it's really little. And it sits on the leaf. And it eats the chlorophyll. Right. So it basically dries it out.
Right.
And at the same time, the guy from Carmel, Dror Dotan, drove by the street there, the road there, and he was just looking at the vineyard, and he suddenly saw that the half of the vineyard is dried out, and he sends me, a voicemail. He says, "What's going on? This isn't good." And I already understood what happened when he sent it to me, and it was really, stressful, but we got ourselves together and we sprayed immediately. We went into spraying. Then I didn't have a tractor. We got someone to do it for us. Right. And he sprayed the leaves, basically with a special tractor that sprays them from both sides. Sprayed the leaves to get rid of this pest.
I've seen them before.
And it worked. It actually worked. We were very happy. We were scared that it would maybe even harm the vineyard, maybe even kill some of the vines.
Yeah.
But Baruch Hashem, it only...
Thank God. Now, this is a Syrah.
Syrah from the hills.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm giving you a flavor for different wines. I wanted you to taste some interesting wines.
The problem is that, I don't remember.
It's okay.
I remember SOB, I drank, I loved. I remember I like it.
This
different
is
ones?
practice. It comes from practice. You can't do it immediately.
Much more.
It's okay. You will.
I have to drink much more then.
While you have more wine, you'll practice. Yeah, you will. You will.
I love the smell, mamash.
Just tell Ayal.
I'm trying to get a hold of him, but Ayal, during the harvest, it's impossible to get a hold of him.
I get it.
I was there now. I was there in the vineyard, in the winery, because I brought him. אז זכיתי לשבת איתו קצת. Wow.
It's not a Syrah like you've tasted a Syrah. It's really...
I wouldn't know what you just said because I don't know what the Syrah tastes like, but this is amazing. What is this called?
K Syrah.
K Syrah.
But you know what K is? K is kosher Syrah.
Good.
It's like, and he doesn't make any kosher wines.
Zev.
Yeah.
Have you met him?
No. I'm looking forward to, though, because I really love this wine. Thank you so much for coming to join me.
First of all, I had no idea that you were recording. I just came to drink with you and to see your house because when you said Yamin Moshe, it was immediately, okay, I got to come. And SOB, I had to come and taste also. And Petit Syrah. That's the main reason. Remember?
I know.
You told me Petit Syrah. I said, I got to come.
Ayal made this. You got to taste this.
It is amazing.
I'm going to cork it and take it home for Shabbat. Okay. This is Simon Jacob again, your host of today's episode of the Kosher Terroir. I have a personal request. No matter where you are or where you live, please take a moment to pray for our soldiers' safety and the safe and rapid return of our hostages. Please subscribe via your podcast provider to be informed of our new episodes as they are released. If you're new to the Kosher Terroir, please check out our many past episodes. And thank you for listening to the Kosher Terroir.